This is Pat Salber with The Doctor Weighs In, and I think it's exactly the right time for us to be talking about immunizations. And I have with me today Kumanan Wilson, who is an internist and a researcher, I believe, at Ottawa Hospital in Canada, and an expert in immunizations. Welcome, Kumanan.
Thank you for having me on the show.
So what I thought we'd start with is having you tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing in Canada to help people track their vaccines and why that's necessary and what the app that you developed actually can accomplish, and then we'll move on from there.
Sure, thanks. So I've been studying immunization for quite a while in Canada, and we've learned about a lot of the problems in the system and trying to come up with some solutions. But interestingly, this idea didn't come from me. I was actually in the park talking to a mother who was complaining to me that she has all of these paper records for her vaccines. And if she can do her banking on the phone, why couldn't we put this paper record on a phone? And so I thought this is a great idea, but I didn't know how to develop. So I hired a 19-year-old kid. He taught himself how to develop, and we built a prototype for Ontario. And then Public Health saw this and said, hey, this is great. And we've been supported, and we now developed Canada's National Immunization App.
Do you still have the 19-year-old with you?
Yeah, he's much older now, but yeah, he's leading he's a technical architect for our team.
Oh, okay, great. And so, what are the features of this app, and how does it help me more than the yellow card that I used to have?
Sure. So one of the things we realized when we were building this is a lot of the problems I've been studying in immunization could be solved digitally with an immunization app. So the first thing it does, our goal is to empower people to manage their own health information and to help them track their vaccines for themselves, for their family. But in the process, we think we can also help them become more confident in vaccinations. There's accurate information about vaccines there. We don't want people searching the web. We know there's a lot of misinformation out there. It notifies them of upcoming appointments. It can be very difficult in busy schedules to sometimes remember those appointments. It even has an outbreak alert map that'll tell you if there's an outbreak of a vaccine-preventable disease and whether your family is protected. It's also great for adults. We don't think about immunization so much for adults, but there are a lot of increasing number of vaccines that are recommended for adults. Can anybody remember when they had their last tetanus shot? They always get asked when they go to the doctor when that was, so this will tell you when you got your last shot. And I think just more importantly, we're seeing that the immunization practice is becoming more fragmented. You're not getting all your vaccines from one person like you used to. And so the only person who can truly know whether they're up to date on their vaccines is the person who's being vaccinated.
So I've got all this information on my app, and let's say I have a PCP, I really like that PCP, I go to them, I look to them to coordinate my care. Can they upload the information from my app and this can become a part of my electronic health record?
So we're going through multiple phases. Our first goal was just to enable individuals to manage their own health information. And so the information initially just resided on the device, or if people decided to back it up themselves. We're now in the process of creating an account-based system where we store that information for them. And we're talking to the provinces, and we're developing a demonstration project where our app will integrate with the province's immunization information system. And there'll be a two-way flow. So you'll be able to see the information that they have in their repository about you and your family, the immunizations, and you'll also be able to contribute information to that repository. And eventually that will connect to doctors' offices.
And do you have any results? Do you know whether you've driven any improvement in the number of people who are vaccinated or the number of vaccinations that they've gotten? Are you making a difference?
It's difficult to assess that. We are academics, so we do research, and we have done some small study that do show that this is a way that can improve confidence in vaccines and reduce vaccine hesitancy.
And so I know that you're a serious researcher, but you also wrote a comic book. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So I was, I think the term is voluntold by my wife to present to my son's grade 6 class in a science topic. So I chose immunization because it's what I study. And Star Wars was coming out around the time. I said, how can I make immunization interesting? And I realized, well, it's a lot like an invasion, an alien invasion. So I did the talk for the class, and they really seemed to be into it. And I got into some pretty complicated concepts like innate and adaptive immunity, and so I thought, well, trying to convince adults of the importance of vaccinations, they don't believe in it. It's hard to do. Once you're an adult, you're sort of made up your mind. But kids are great. We need to talk to kids and educate them about vaccinations. And it's also really cool science. So we made a comic book, Invasion of the Alien Zombies, and the kids don't know they're learning. They're the space invasion. Then halfway through the comic book, you realize the invaders are the flu virus and it's the human body, and then they call on Project Vaccine to save them.
And you even have macrophages in it, right?
Yeah, we've got this T macro. It's the first line of defense. They go out and the natural killer cells, and you even see a city that's destroyed by its own immune system, because that's what the immune system does. If one of your cells is infected, it will go and destroy it.
Well, so maybe we need to figure out a way to get this comic book to some of the parents that are opposed to vaccinations.
Yeah, it's available for free online, immunitywarriors.com. So you can go and use it to teach your kids and teach even maybe adults.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Kumanan. That's been fascinating, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you so much for having me on.